Could you tell me a little bit more about how do people manage the information and the claim that we have in the survey that says in the impact survey that there's an increase and improvement by 51% when it comes to managing information. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yes, certainly. I'll give an example to start off with. Does this sound familiar to you in your experience, Ashish? I know I've got approximately 20 copies of the same document filed in about 25 different places in our current filing system. And each one of those documents, more often than not, doesn't have a similar name, or it's not quite the same name. So when I go to search for the document, I find multiple copies of the same document, maybe be even unaware whether that's if I'm using the search tool, maybe. But more often than not, that's a very common sort of situation. If you come across that yourself, where people will save documents, put it into a file, that's a shared file, say, for example, and it could end up in multiple folders with different names, depending on, because there's no standardization of protocol about how we use it. And perhaps our folder system has got a little bit out of control. We've got folders and then subfolders and then subfolders of the subfolders and then subfolders of the subfolders. So there's complexity in filing systems. And again, it's like, if I know how to use the search tools really, really well, and I standardize, or we standardize the protocol by which we save information, we can start really taking control of duplication or triplication, quadruplication of documents that get filed. And then you can think about it, go from an email point of view. Oh gosh, people usually end up with a whole lot of folders. And if they're not careful, they've got complexity because they've got 20, 30, 40 folders. So when it comes to filing, gosh, well, should I put that file there or should I put it there? Or maybe I'll just leave it here because it's getting a bit hard. And again, the 80-20 rule applies. Now, good old Pareto and his principle, but 80% of the information is in 20% of the folders. So you sit there and, oh, okay, so there must be a lot of folders with just a few emails in or a few documents in. But why don't we just have broad folders if our search tools are so good? Well, as I said in our previous conversation, I need to know how to operate those search tools. So we're going to learn that part of it. And then once we know the search tools work really well, standardize some of the protocols about where we save stuff in our filing systems, ones that are shared, and make sure that people understand what the file structure is and what the protocol is for saving documents. The idea then is to make life easier for everybody. Use the search tools, search by metadata, bang, there's I don't have to go diving through folders to find stuff. And now, of course, in recent times, we've got Microsoft Teams, and for many organizations are using Teams. And, oh, hello, we can, another place to file stuff. And so the filing system there, which really links to SharePoint, but it's a front end that we can create within a channel and or even in a chat sort of situation. So what we find in the training, a vast majority of the people that do the training are not that flash about how they or even understand well how to manage filing effectively. So by addressing some of these issues about standardizing the protocol, thinking about the folders, not keeping information in Outlook necessarily. If it's to be shared with others, it should be in our SharePoint, if it's SharePoint that we're using, and it should be accessible via there, so search tools will find that information. And the only stuff that I really keep in my Outlook, say, for example, is the stuff that I want to keep for me, because at the end of the day, in Outlook, I'm the only person that can access that unless we share the account. So it's helping people understand there's just lots of better ways of managing information. And this is, again, a big area because there are big challenges out there. As I said at the start of this little conversation we just had, just take a filing system. And most people's eyes will roll. Yes, I do recognize 25 copies of the same document in 20 different places. And do I keep emails in the filing system? Where do I put them? How do I file them? And on it goes. A lot of unanswered questions, a lot of misunderstanding about what an organization's filing policy is. And so as a result, it's what I heard one person call it, most filing systems that they work with are dogs' breakfasts. So it's changing them to nice, tasty human breakfasts, which are easy to digest and to prepare, so we don't spend that 6 hours a week that's so called that current research seems to indicate we spend up to 6 hours a week trying to find things in folders or wherever they are kept. And so saying, well, we can cut that right back, we're saving time. Again, that's why there's such a high percentage increase there, because by and large, it's not an area that's well managed, if you like, in terms of out of ABC, we're probably lucky to get a C.
Right.